session. Now, to formally begin our event, the Senior Project Manager of the University of Alicante in Spain, Pathway Coordination, and the Project Manager and Executive Director of Strategic Communications, Linkages, and International Affairs Office. Let me welcome to our virtual stage our two prestigious speakers and guests, Ms. Cristina Beans and Dr. Maribeth Buenviaje.
Hello. Thank you very much for that presentation, Anna May.
All right.
We're good.
Hi, everyone. All right.
Good morning from Spain. Well, good afternoon to the Philippines. It's a pleasure for us to be here with you today to share our experience with the Pathway Project. Maribeth and I are very much looking forward to it and hope you find it interesting. Maribeth.
Good afternoon, everyone. We can't wait to share with you the Pathway Project and, of course, the challenges that we have encountered along the way. And we can't wait to, share everything about Pathway to you. So just sit back, relax, and just watch your presentation.
So here we go. Maribeth, will you start it, please? So we're going to talk about we've got the next half hour to share some of our, I'm, like I said, Saturday morning in Spain. The coffee hasn't kicked in yet. So we're here to share our experiences with you over the next 20, 30 minutes, answer any questions you might have. And in this time, we're going to talk about what is Pathway exactly? What do we want to do with it? What are its objectives? What results do we hope to achieve? And who is this partnership? Who has made up Pathway? And how we've been able to develop this partnership and come together and collaborate well, facing the challenges of COVID-19 that we've all had to deal with the past year and a half, and we're all fed up with. Then we're just going to tell you a little bit about the current results we have and our next steps in the project, and which maybe some of you can join. So Pathway is actually an acronym. The official name of this project is called Promoting the Employability and Entrepreneurship of Higher Education Graduates Through Innovative Ways in the Philippines. As you can see, it's a mouthful, so we stick to Pathway. So this is an Erasmus Plus project that's co-financed by the European Commission through their program to support universities around the world in collaboration with universities in Europe. It's a structural project, which means that we have the fortune to have the Commission of Higher Education working with us in this project and supporting us, because we hope that the work we do is going to have an effect on the entire higher education system in the Philippines. So like most Erasmus Plus projects, it runs 3 years. We just started in January, so we're still getting our feet going, getting started. And it brings together 10 institutions that I'll tell you about later. Here, I'm from the University of Alicante, and we have the honor of coordinating this project. So with this project, what we were seeking, looking at the context in the Philippines that was going on, was to answer certain challenges that were identified at structural and institutional level in the higher education system of the Philippines that are linked to support provided for students and graduates' employability and entrepreneurship efforts. For example, well, you're going a little bit too fast for me, if not it. For example, the issue with not enough funding for employment and entrepreneurship activities among the universities, not enough training for the staff, not enough visibility in general for some of these activities. So we want to help these universities develop these actions better. All right, now you can switch. So the objectives of our project, like an Erasmus Plus project, we've got a wider objective, which is what we hope the project is going to achieve in the long term. And in the long term, we really hope that to enhance the entrepreneurship and employability culture of higher education institutions in the Philippines to meet the labor market needs and government reforms that are proposed by CHED. And, general objectives are usually a bit long-term, ambitious. They're far down the road. To get there, we've got stepping stones on the way, which are specific objectives. So specifically within this project over the 3 years, our aim is to consolidate the entrepreneurship and employment structures at universities by fostering and boosting university employment and environment synergies. So we want to get the university collaborating close with their stakeholders and use this relationship to help strengthen the structures that support employment and entrepreneurship. And then we also want to accompany reforms developed by CHED to help build up an entrepreneurship culture at the national level, through the implementation of pilot initiatives and policy recommendations through our project. So what do we hope to achieve with this? Well, we're developing a state-of-the-art, so an analysis of the situation in our universities related to this. And we're going to work on strengthening their employment and entrepreneurship structures. We do all this through desk research, data collection, and we have a national task force on entrepreneurship competences that is going to look at what defines entrepreneurship in the Philippines, what competences are related to it, what learning outcomes. There's somebody who's studying a university or in a vocational school, in a higher school, just somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, what kind of learning do they need to have? What kind of skills do they need to have? And then see how this can be incorporated into the curriculum and into the universities. So this is something we're actually working on now. Mabeth will say a little bit about it later, and we'll be sharing these results with you publicly soon. Then we have training initiatives. Mabeth, you're going way too fast. Then the idea of doing this state of the art, this analysis of the situation, it gives us an information, a view of where things are now. And it helps us identify where training is needed for the staff in the universities. So we're going to develop tailor-made training initiatives that are relevant to the topic of the project, that meet the needs identified. We're going to share success stories, case studies, and this training is going to be provided to several staff members in our partner universities. But then these universities in turn are going to organize a series of training seminars for their own staff, but which will also be available to staff from career centers and entrepreneurship centers from other universities in the Philippines. So if you're interested in any of your staff receiving some training on this, you'll be able to join some of our partners at this level. Next, we're also going to develop some pilot actions. Our partner universities, employment and entrepreneurship centers are going to start developing a series of actions that are going to be attractive to students, to businesses, to collaborate with them, to start getting students more aware of the need to work on their employability early on the fact that anyone can develop entrepreneurial ideas, and on letting them know that they have these services that can help them and develop their skills. And then finally, we're going to be working with CHED and helping them with their policy efforts to develop, have impact at structural level. We're going to develop some observatories who will be able to work on tracer studies, update reports on the situation, do benchmarking of lessons learned. And we're going to organize a national conference in the Philippines on employability and entrepreneurship of university graduates. So that will be in 2023. So these are the main events that are going to be leading up to our different aspects. So we had a national launch and a workshop on the impact of this project in February, which was online, lots of fun. I'll tell you about it in a minute. One thing we were pending is we were supposed to have also a World of Work Cafe. So this was going to be a networking event with business leaders and the university staff. And well, we're waiting until we can do that because our colleagues at the European Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines, which are our key link to the labor market, said, yeah, online, we don't know. So we're holding this one in reserve for when we can actually meet face-to-face, because you can't do everything online, unfortunately. You can try. Then we have our staff training workshops and corresponding replication seminars. So the workshops that we as a project developed immediately for the staff are scheduled at the moment, so this is tentatively, in February, May, and November of next year. You know, exact dates and everything depends on COVID, it depends on our own staff situations, calendars. And then our partner universities will start organizing these seminars to train other staff, to train students, and which you can participate approximately 1 month later after each training, 1 month, 2 months, depending on their own calendars internally, but we'll be advertising all of this. Then we have student workshops that our universities will be launching in the spring of next year. And there will be certain other flashier events, like one that we call 100 students, 20 businesses. It's going to be a networking event to get students closer to the business world, help them understand, bring them closer to successful entrepreneurs so they know what it's like to be in a business, maybe also get ideas of future careers. And then we're going to organize hackathons as well in 2023. And finally, as I mentioned, we have our big national conference. All right, next. So who are we? Who is the Pathway Partnership? Well, like I mentioned, we are 10 partners, and the consortium was brought together to be compatible and to be complementary. If you want to put together a partnership for any initiative, you need to choose well your partners. You need to make sure that everybody can benefit from the project, but then everybody can bring something to the project. And since we were working on a topic of labor market, about employability of graduates, of entrepreneurship, we decided that for this project, we had to bring in all the different actors in this field. So we have the universities. We have 5 universities in the Philippines. These universities, they're the trainers. They have the ecosystem that helps develop their students, their graduates, make sure they come out with the necessary skills to find a job. And they're the ones who begin developing activities. We also have the voice of the students, both through the universities, but also through Enactus Philippines, which has a lot of experience over the years working very closely with students, and which students develop their own entrepreneurial activities and their own entrepreneurial ideas. So they bring us the perspective of the students. Then we've got the employers and the industry, which are represented by the European Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines. Next up, we have the policymakers represented by the Commission on Higher Education. And finally, because it's a European project, we also have 2 European partners, the University of Alicante, where I'm from, in Spain, and our colleagues at the University of Montpellier in France. And we are here to support our colleagues in the Philippines. So just tiny glimpse of where we all are. So Alicante in Spain, we're about 2/3 of the way down the Mediterranean, nice sunny place. Rains maybe 10 days out of the year around here, so we enjoy the beach a lot. The tourists also come here to enjoy our beaches. Then Montpellier is similar in the south of France. And our colleagues, as you can see, are mostly from the main part of the northern part of the Philippines, all spread out. Okay, so we were also asked to tell you about how did this partnership come about? Where did we come from? Well, it came out through another project, another Erasmus Plus project that the University of Alicante also coordinates, that is centered on internationalization of higher education institutions. It's called Antenna. And this project started 2 years ago. And it was such a good collaboration. This one covers 10 universities in the Philippines. It also includes CHED. University of Montpellier is also in it. I forgot to include them. And it was going so well. The experience was so well, both on our side. We were very happy working with our partners in the Philippines. They were excited about the work we were doing together, but especially CHED was interested in the possibilities of these projects and what they could do. So they asked us 2 years ago if we could prepare a proposal to do a new project on the topic of employability and entrepreneurship. And so that's how this idea came out. This was born. We presented a proposal. We worked closely with our partners to see what could be of interest, what could be useful, impact, what were the needs in the universities. And we were selected by the Erasmus Plus program, for which we are very grateful. But it's just to show that frequently, when you're involved in a collaboration and a project, this very often leads to new initiatives, new cooperations. So it's always important to do everything well, because it's going to take you who knows where. All right, next. So challenges, life online. I can't see you, but who here is fed up of COVID-19, living online, Zoom, Meet, Skype, Teams, and everything? Oh, I'm desperate to get on an airplane. That's all I can say. So, it is difficult. How do you create a sense of partnership when you're meeting online, especially now? How do you organize a highly visible project launch? You want to have impact and you want to attract people, but you're online. Well, key action for developing a sense of partnership is communication. You have to have frequent communication from the very beginning of your partnership, even before it starts, as you prepare the launch. You have to have it active, to the point. It takes a lot of effort, but it's worth it, because you start developing these relationships. Use every means you have possible. In our project, we also have a WhatsApp group that helps a lot for quicker needs. And then at the very start of the project, before we had our big event, we organized just a small get to know you meeting with the coordinators from each institution. We found this helped just, Mabeth, go back. Just a small meeting to be able to relax, to try to replicate some way that that we would be meeting together for the first time, maybe having a cup of tea or coffee or a beer together and just getting to know us a little bit, because when you get to know people, you're a bit more comfortable with them, it's easier to collaborate. You've got a stronger feeling of partnership, of all rowing in the same direction. So we had this little meeting with our coordinators, and then we've said, how are we going to organize a launch event that's going to attract attention? Okay, Mabeth, you can go to the next one. So we wanted to do an event that caught people's attention, and we wanted to make it interesting, because a kickoff meeting, a launch event with a lot of people going blah, 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 blah. You know, it's hard to capture people's attention for a couple of hours in a webinar, in a seminar, talking about projects, having them feel interested and invited. So we went with games. You can organize meetings and events. You can catch people's attentions through games. In our case, kind of educational games. We used Kahoot to do a little quiz, to quiz people's knowledge about entrepreneurship, about employment, but also about the Philippines, Spain, France, because Erasmus Plus is also about cultural exchange, about learning to know people and sharing experiences from other countries. And then we used the Mentimeter application to gather information on what people thought about employability, what they thought about entrepreneurship, what were their expectations for this project, what did they want from it. All right, next. And then we also asked each of our partners for this launch event to record a video that shared their hopes from the project. What did they expect from the project? You know, from the very beginning, giving everybody a voice to say, this is what I hope to do. This is what I hope to achieve. And then we organized so we had our public launch event. Another key thing to get, so these are elements to keep people interested during the event, but you have to get people to come to the event, which of course needs putting together an interesting agenda, which means inviting interesting speakers, keynote speakers from the industry, from the government. We were very grateful to have a representative of the European delegation in the Philippines join us as well to talk about what the EU is doing in the Philippines. And we had to announce it as far and wide as possible. Social media, websites, press releases to get people to come. And we were very successful. We did this on a live storm platform, which allowed 100 participants, and we had people still knocking on the door trying to get in. And we live streamed it through Facebook and had over 100 people at one point at the maximum thing. So I think we did a very good job of getting the word out. And the feedback we got was that people all found it very interesting, and everybody wanted to join Pathway, which we wish we could bring anyone in, but it's not. In any case, you have if you look for us on Facebook at Pathway to Employability, you can actually see the video, the live stream of the launch event if you're interested. Skip the first couple of minutes because we had technical difficulties like everyone online nowadays. All right. And now I'm going to pass the microphone to my colleague Maribeth Buenviaje, who is going to tell you about some of the other challenges that we've overcome and the results that we've got going on now. So Mabeth, all
Yes,
yours.
Christina, thank you very much. I agree that it's really hard to, push through with any collaboration online. And just to give you additional challenges that we have been encountering during the journey of this Pathway project, one is, of course, organizing the focus group discussions, knowing that the focus group members are from different backgrounds. We have entrepreneurs, we have students, we have alumni, we have faculty, etc., etc. So you can just imagine how difficult it is to make all their time, find a common time for everyone to finally meet. So what did we do to overcome this kind of challenge? It is answered through the close coordination with the availability of the FGD members. And later on, we were able to conduct the discussions via Zoom. And aside from that, data collection is also very, very challenging. We have students, alumni, and staff from the different partner universities in the Philippines who are the respondents of the study. So what did we do to overcome this? We created and disseminated an online instrument and getting 100% support from our partners. It's very, very challenging because school calendars of each of the schools differs. So that is another great challenge when we were trying to collect all the data. But good thing we were able to get the support of our partners. And after quite some time, we were able to get the result of the study. Another challenge is organizing the task force members. That includes our Philippine and, of course, our EU partners. So again, we did close coordination with the availability of the task force members. Again, knowing that they came from different backgrounds. And we once again conducted the discussions of this task force meeting via Zoom again. And another challenge is collating the comments from our pathway partners. LPU Batangas' role is to come up with the initial result of the study. And right now, we are at the moment collating the comments from our pathway partners in hope that we'll be able to, of course, get all the comments from the partners and incorporate all their comments. And then, of course, we are expecting all the comments to be sent to us through email with anticipated delays, which is, I think, very acceptable, especially during this time. And finally, the coordination across geographic and cultural boundaries. We have to understand the respective differences among partners. And I guess understanding and respecting these differences made the journey somehow, though it's challenging, we were able to still manage to make it. So, who are the respondents of our study? All in all, there are 1,187 who answered the survey online. This is comprised of students and alumni with 1,157 and staff from the employment center, which is 24. This represents the different pathway partner schools in the country. And for the result, the initial result of the study, allow me, of course, to share with you a very short video presentation of the initial result of the study. Please watch this. All right. Thank you. All right. So to continue, what will be the next step? What will be the next step? So we have the result already. So now what's next? So this month, we are meeting once again our task force to discuss and talk about entrepreneurship competencies in the Philippine setting. And sometime in this month or sometime in November, we hope our team, LPU Batangas, we hope to come up with the state-of-the-art results by coming up with an infographics, which will be shared, of course, to everyone. Let me just share with everybody that this is not solely for the 5-member institutions in the country of the Pathway Project. This will benefit the entire Filipino community. And on October to February, that would be the time for the equipment purchase and, of course, installation in our respective universities. All of us are more than excited for this thing to happen. And then on November or February, fingers crossed, we hope to have the staff training. We hope COVID permits. But
Basically,
then again,
we hope it permits us to travel. Right now, we're studying whether we're going to do it in November online or February face to face.
So that we still have to find out. Okay. So, Christina?
Yeah. So thank you very much. If there haven't been any questions throughout the presentation, but if you do have any, you can drop them in now. But otherwise, on behalf of all the partnership, we thank you. You have the link there for YouTube, but I imagine the presentations will be available later. In any case, if you look for us, Pathway to Employability in YouTube, you'll also find the video from our partners sharing their hopes for this project. And here you have our email addresses. If you would like more information about the project, or you have your staff in your university would be interested in participating in some of these trainings that will be organized by our partners in the Philippines for university staff, just please let us know. And we'll put you information. You also have information, next slide, on our website, which is still developing. There's not much in the news section because with activities have been, for the moment, it's all been research, but we'll have our results put up there. Facebook's more active for right now. And we'll definitely be announcing any seminars, trainings, and everything, both through the website and through our Facebook pages.
That's right. So, that's why you have to make sure that you like us and you follow us on Facebook, and of course, check
on Twitter.
Check the website www.pathwaytoemployability.eu. All right. Thank you very much, Christina.
Thank you, Maribeth, and thank you to our hosts. So we've got 2 minutes left. So I guess that's really quick if anyone has a question.
I want to believe that the presentation was very clear, that no one there is a question already. There's a question, Christina. Will you be accepting transferees? I'm a freshman from Ateneo de Manila University, and I was wondering what is the criteria to get into these colleges. I am a bit confused, Joanna, if what you are referring to is you'd like to transfer.
It's an admissions questions. How can you transfer to another university? It's a bit off topic.
That's right. That's right.
You just need to check with each university which their criteria is for transfers.
But let me just share, since I am also from a university, you can always transfer. Just make sure that you have all the necessary credentials so that the new school can evaluate all your documents. Okay? All right.
Yes.
No further questions.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon with the rest of the virtual fair, and have a very good weekend. And let's hope that the next time something like this takes place, it can be face-to-face. No more COVID.
Hoping and praying. Thank you very much, Christina. Stay